जब से मोहब्बतें देखी है, आप पूरे हिंदुस्तान की क्रश रह चुकी है। जो 90s किड्स हैं, हम लोग ने प्यार आपसे सीखा है।
Oh.
आपको मोहब्बतें किए हुए ऑलमोस्ट 26 ईयर्स हो चुका है। हाउ हैज दैट जर्नी बीन फॉर यू?
उस टाइम पे आई थिंक मैं भी प्यार सीख ही रही थी सो एवरीथिंग वाज एज न्यू टू मी एक्चुअल फिल्म मेकिंग एंड हार्ड वर्क आई लर्नड ओनली फ्रॉम मोहम्मद।
आपको आदित्य सर का कॉल आया था, देन यू जस्ट वेंट टू द ऑफिस। व्हेन यू वेंट देयर एंड जब आपको पता चला कि शाहरुख खान सर हैं, अमिताभ सर है, ऐश्वर्या मैम है, हाउ वाज दैट फीलिंग फॉर यू?
So when we shot for 40
Preeti, how difficult is it to be a mother at this stage with the fame that you have? You are an entrepreneur right now.
right now the hardest thing for me is guilt.
Across the industry, there are a lot of celebrities like Ranveer, or you pick any name who is a parent right now, they are not very open to get their child out in public, like in front of paps, in front of cameras. What is the reason behind it?
I think the child should be allowed to have.
When you did Mohabbatein and you completed Mohabbatein, you were the dream girl. So I'm very sure there might be a lot of guys that might have come to you and might have been like, we are in love with you.
Yeah, it was a craze at that time and proposals and things like that. There was this guy who landed up in my house with his family.
What are you saying? तो हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू आवर बैक स्टोरी पॉडकास्ट। आज की जो हमारी गेस्ट है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा स्पेशल गेस्ट है, क्योंकि वो मेरी क्रश रह चुकी हैं व्हेन वी वर इन आर 2000s। सो मोहब्बतें की सबसे लवेबल कैरेक्टर जो कि है प्रीति, वो हमारे पॉडकास्ट में है। और आज हमने उनसे लव के अराउंड, शाहरुख खान के अराउंड, मोहब्बतें के अराउंड बात की है। सो ये एपिसोड को देखते रहिए। हाय प्रीति मैम, हाउ आर यू डूइंग?
Doing very well. Very
तो
well.
सबसे पहले तो आई एम सीइंग यू बिकॉज इट हैज़ ऑलवेज बीन कि जब से मोहब्बतें देखी है, आप पूरे हिंदुस्तान की क्रश रह चुकी है। ठीक है, आप पूरे कॉलेज बॉयज़ की क्रश रह चुकी है। सो आई थिंक इट्स अ बिग मोमेंट फॉर मी एज वेल हैविंग यू ऑन द पॉडकास्ट, एंड इट फील्स अमेजिंग। मेरा जो पॉडकास्ट है, इट हैज़ ऑलवेज बीन अराउंड लव एंड रिलेशनशिप्स, एंड आई थिंक हम लोग ने जो 90s किड्स हैं, जो 2000 किड्स हैं, हम लोग ने प्यार आपसे सीखा है।
Oh.
ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले मैम कि आपको मोहब्बतें किए हुए ऑलमोस्ट 26 ईयर्स हो चुका है। ओके,
Yes, yes.
सो हाउ हैज दैट जर्नी बीन फॉर यू फ्रॉम दैट टाइम टिल टुडे?
उस टाइम पे आई थिंक मैं भी प्यार सीख ही रही थी सो एवरीथिंग वाज एज न्यू टू मी। सी मेरी पैदाइशी एक्चुअली बॉम्बे में ही हुई है। आई एम बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप इन मुंबई एंड आई बीन गिवन अ वेरी लिबरल upbringing. So plus we were not brought up on movies, and you know, like that's the story of a lot of kids also today, brought up on movies, watching Hindi films, watching. So it wasn't like that for me. So when the opportunity came for modeling and everything, I was only doing it as a lark for fun, because for side pocket money. And when this suddenly became a profession for me was a shock to me also.
पर
So-
आपने कभी पहले से सोचा था कि आप इतनी बड़ी मूवी करने वाले हो?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, जब मैंने पहले म्यूज़िक वीडियोस भी की, राजश्री फिल्म्स के ऑफिस में भी मैं पहली बार गई, छुई मुई सी तुम लगती हो का वीडियो के लिए they were auditioning, meeting people. So I just went to meet them. And even then I didn't know कि राजश्री फिल्म्स, it's such a huge opportunity कि मुझे completely dress up होके जाना चाहिए। या even when I met Adi for Yashraj, I think I must have worn my worst outfit and not realized that these are very huge companies, and this can be the stepping stone to something very big. And I think that was a plus point also कि उस टाइम आप इतने innocent होते हो, plus आपको इतनी knowledge, एटलीस्ट मुझे इतनी नॉलेज नहीं थी, ऑल्दो आई लिव्ड इन बॉम्बे, लेकिन मेरी फिल्मों से एब्सोल्युटली कोई कनेक्शन नहीं था. सो आई हैड नो कनेक्शन, आई हैड नो आइडिया व्हाट आई वाज गेटिंग. इवन इट वाज ओनली व्हेन I did a lot of South films before Mohabbatein. So I got a good idea of ki, this is the way the industry works, or how you face the camera, and a little bit of acting and everything, but actual filmmaking and hard work I learned only from Mohabbatein.
So I remember like in one of the interviews you mentioned कि आपको आदित्य सर का कॉल आया था, आपको वहाँ से कॉल आया था एंड यू जस्ट वेंट टू द ऑफिस. आपको आइडिया नहीं था कि कौन कौन कास्ट है इस मूवीज में, मतलब मोहब्बत में जो कास्ट है. सो व्हेन यू वेंट देयर एंड जब आपको पता चला कि शाहरुख खान सर हैं, अमिताभ सर है, ऐश्वर्या मैम है, हाउ वाज दैट फीलिंग फॉर यू?
I think what I remember of that was only Aditya Chopra, because that whole film was Adi. The creation, the first person, and when I went to Yashraj office, मुझसे और किसी ने, I didn't meet anybody else. It was only Adi alone. With me and my father, me and my dad. My father used to travel with me because I was very young. So my father used to travel with me everywhere. And when we went to meet Adi, also just me and my father. And he was so simple and so friendly and so very well he explained that, this is what it is and this is what it will be and this is what will be expected for you. Are you ready for this kind of a commitment? That was the reason he wanted me, that this is going to be a huge commitment from your side. Of course, at that time, I didn't realize that my whole life for 8 months would be taken over just for training for Mohabbatein. So
before the shoot, you trained for 8 months and then you were
maybe even more than I was. I think the first person to be signed for Mohabbatein, and Jimmy was the last.
Okay.
after we finished our 8 months of training, and till then they didn't have a boy for Jimmy's character.
Oh.
And Tarun Mansukhani, who was the assistant director, he used to fill in for Jimmy in all the places where we needed to. Like when we did classes with Barry John, there needed to be 6 people. So he was the 6th person. Usko dal dete the beech mein, tu kar le.
Oh, amazing.
So so I was the first person to be signed, and the role was of a classical dancer, and I had not done one day of dance in my life.
Are you saying?
Like I said, I was not trained for acting or had any acting experience or had seen any acting movies of my parents or anything. ऐसा कुछ था ही नहीं. There was nobody there to watch or to learn from. So I had to play a class. So especially for the dancing role, and Adi wanted that when this character comes out, it should feel like the dancer has come out. And for that, it doesn't come easy. Classical dance, आप तो जानते हैं, it's a very... so since that day, till the film ended, I have woken up at 5 or 6 a.m. every day to dance with my Master Ji, who used to come with the tabla and the gungroos, and train with him every day for 2 hours to 3 hours.
So are you still in touch with classical dancing?
I don't think uske baad mujhe zarurat padi, because I'm so... Till now, if you tell me to stand up and dance to that rhythms of Mohabbatein, the music piece, I can do it right now.
You still remember that?
I remember it from memory. I remember every step in Mohabbatein from memory because we had rehearsed it so many times. And I think that's where you actually realize the importance of hard work in any field that you do. Not just cinema, sabko lagta hai sab glamorous hai, ye hai. No, the amount of hard work that goes into every song rehearsal, especially for a film like Mohabbatein, we trained not just for dance. Of course, classical dance was my character, what I had to do. But all of us trained for Hindi diction, voice throwing lessons, different scenes. We did different scenes with Adi. Plus, I trained also with Karan for many different kinds of songs, old film songs, new film songs, scenes from different films, old films, new films, Adi's films, Yash Raj films, other films. Adi ke saath bhi humne different scenes perform kiye. Lot of training went into. Then Barry John was called down, especially from Delhi, for 15 days to give us a theatre training workshop.
Wow.
So I think the kind of training ground, and the training ground not just for Hindi films, but the training ground was set for life. कि आपको किसी चीज़ में एक्सेल करना है तो इतनी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी.
तो आप एक आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड से आए थे, आपका कभी कोई कनेक्शन ही नहीं था बॉलीवुड में, राइट? सो एज अ किड, व्हेन यू वर अ किड, प्रीति मैम, सो व्हाट यू थॉट ऑफ बिकमिंग, लाइक उस समय क्या बनना था? you always
Like
wanted to become an
16 years
actor?
you knew, 17 years what you want to become. Nothing, nobody knows what they want to do at 16. We're just having a good time, we're enjoying college. But yeah, I was artistic. So I was doing some computer graphics and so I would probably be making some
But
promos and
कभी
editing
सोचा था कि
somewhere.
you want to do movies, you want to
No,
be in front?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. That thought was nowhere on the horizon. Even when I started modeling, there was a lot of and a couple of advertisements came out and they became quite popular. Like Neema Sandal
Yes.
came out, or even the Pankaj Udas music video came out. Sach Bolta Hu Main. There were a few filmmakers who landed up at my home and came home, and that time I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to do Hindi movies. Who does Hindi movies? Plus, even there was a whole. I come from a Sindhi household, and then there was absolutely no Sindhi actor or actress after Sadhna. So even not that we were very traditional or thought of it that way, but at that time I said no, I don't want to do films at all, and I don't know. Naturally, it just came. The progression. When I did a couple of South Indian movies, I did one Tamil movie with Prashant called Hello. I did my first movie was a Malayalam film called Madavil.
So you know Malayali?
No, I don't know.
You
any.
learned?
I had to learn the dialogues. Even that film was very, very hard because Malayalam is a very difficult language even
Yes.
to pronounce.
Yes.
And my director was very, very strict. Wanted me to. At the time of that film, I was 17 years old. So, and we shot for 40 days in Austria. That was the first movie I did. And I only did that movie because there was a strike of teachers in our college and the college was off. And this movie came exactly
Oh my
at that time. And they said, we'll take you to Austria and we'll be there for 40 days and we'll shoot. I only did that movie to go to Austria.
wow.
I didn't think of the craft of it or how I would have to work for it or what it would be like. So my journey has been very. It was written. It was destiny. कि जो होना था वो हुआ, and I was just going along. I was just going along and having a good time. It was only much later that maybe when Mohabbatein happened and after Mohabbatein when I realized that this is a serious profession that I need to take it seriously. I need to hone my craft. I need to do when I get a story or a script. I need to read it thoroughly. Know what is the backstory of my character, do it, get into it more thoroughly and more professionally than I was doing all this time.
Absolutely. So, Preeti, I'm sure your life changed drastically after Mohabbatein, right? So, can you just explain us about that feeling of आपको पता कब चला कि ये मूवी सुपर हिट हो गई है एंड आई एम एवरीवेयर? व्हेन डिड यू रियलाइज दैट?
Life changed after Ye Hai Prem actually. After Chui Mui Si Tum Lagti Ho, it was, it changed a bit. And then of course after Mohabbatein, it was like, I couldn't go out and eat pani puri with my dad in Bandra. I couldn't, I knew that, I felt that I had to, get ready and step out anyway. Otherwise you're very casual and I suddenly became a little conscious of everything because I felt that people were looking at me all the time. And
Why wouldn't they? Yeah, you were the face, you were the star.
So yeah, that's after Mohabbatein. It was everything changed, and I was suddenly thrust into this world of Bollywood with all these hundreds of filmmakers and scripts and stories with absolutely no idea. There used to be managers at that time, not nice professional agencies like there are now. No PR team or nothing.
Like a single manager.
Single manager. And they were not the most classy or, didn't have the greatest etiquette.
I get it. I don't know what you're talking about.
And it was a very difficult world for me to navigate. And I was just thrust into, so I think the first few choices I made must have been a little wayward and, we didn't have really too many people to turn to for advice. It was just me and my dad and my mom kind of deciding, okay, let's do this, let's do that. But I would say it was a very fun time and it was an easy time because for me, it was different from other newcomers because I didn't have any pressures on me. I had not come from somewhere out. and I didn't have to pay my rent in Mumbai, and I didn't have to stay. So in that way, I feel I've always been very blessed in my life. The career path was chosen for me. Again, I could do that. I could go on that career path without any external pressures, without having to, think where my next meal is going to come from, where my next rent paycheck is going to come from. So, in that sense, I think I've been very blessed. And it's been a different journey from newcomers or people who talk about their stories and their struggles. The struggle for me was a different one.
Right.
The struggle for me was actually because of absolutely no training in films. I feel that my earlier films, I cringe watching them. Even Mohabbatein, I cringe. That I just wanted it to, I could do so much better. If I was doing a role now, I would put so much more into it.
So, when was the last you watched Mohabbatein?
It comes all the time on my Instagram, on my... So
Like the
scenes
whole movie,
from-
when was the last you watched
So the whole movie, actually, we showed, we did the Asian Arm Wrestling Championship in Delhi. And in the hotel, there's a big screen.
Right.
And all of our foreign delegates, by then, they're all heard about mine and Parveen's movies. And in the hotel, I believe there's a rule that you can't show any other movie because of the law.
Of the law.
But the law says that if that actor or the director or one of those people is there, you can have a screening of that movie.
So
So we
did that.
decided, we decided to show Mohabbatein to them. So it was this whole batch of people from Bulgaria, from Romania, from Kazakhstan, from Uzbekistan, from Moldova.
Wow.
So there's a whole batch of people from
So
all
the-
of these places.
So everyone was sitting and just watching.
I watched it with subtitles. Yes. And that was the last time I sat and watched.
That was 23, if I'm not wrong.
That was now 24 Asian Championship.
24,
24 in
24.
Delhi. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Preeti ma'am, uske saath, the very important question I think all of us also want to know about is, आपका जो character था मोहब्बतें में, very innocent girl, very sweet, very calm, very charming. Real life में आपका character उस समय कैसा था?
I don't know if she was charming. The Kiran in the film was very quiet and subdued, and she couldn't come out of her shell. I think I was very much like that.
Was that the reason Adi sir also chose you for that particular role?
Maybe he saw that because Adi, he's a genius. I think he's brilliant, and he's very hardworking, and his whole life is cinema. So maybe Adi saw that. Yes, it could be, but I don't know. But I was very, very shy, very introverted, in spite of the fact that I had already done quite a few commercials. In front of the camera, it was a different thing. I felt I was able to come out more in front of the camera and be much more confident when I was in front of the camera. But in real life and socially, very, very awkward. It was very difficult for me even to, after Mohabbatein and all the parties and everything. And I think I'm still very, I don't know what to say to anybody. I'm very different with people I'm close to or friends. But otherwise, I was very shy, very introverted. I didn't know what to say. In large gatherings or to people. So, yeah, I was very much like Kiran. And Kiran was bound because, she had all these traditions around her. So, but I was not bound by traditions because actually my upbringing was very, I don't think I'd worn a salwar kurta in my life. I didn't own a salwar suit till the age of, till I started doing movies.
Wow.
I didn't have salwar suit. I was only in shorts and t-shirts, and that's how we were. And I've never... In my life, has anybody told me that you can't go there to this party or this nightclub or come home at this time or this is the kind of, you can't go out wearing this? I have never been told that in my life. So, in spite of that, I was a quieter person. And I feel this is true of all, and I should tell this to all Indian parents, that when you restrict the child more and more, I think the child becomes more prone to negative and bad habits. And when you just let
Leave
them
them
be,
free.
they learn what is good and bad on their own.
At that time, when you were doing movies, you were doing commercials, how supportive were your parents at that point?
Very supportive.
With everything you were doing around?
Very supportive. My dad would push me and say, like, you should go. Why are you not going? I would say no, it's fun. Why don't you go? In fact, he came along with me for Ye Hai Prem for my Rajshri music video, and they were so happy with how full of life he was that he plays my father in the music video.
Yeah.
And all the other actors were very established actors. There was Maya Alag, there was Parikshit Sahani. All the other actors who played the father and the mother were very established actors, and my dad was the only one who had never done anything. So, and they took him to be my father in the music video. So, if you watch the series of music videos that we did. So he was always very full of life, gregarious, and he pushed me and my sister to always go out there and do whatever we wanted to do. I remember there was a party, there used to be these socials in the afternoon when we were very young, and I was like, I don't want to go. And my dad was like, you should go, you should see, So, yes, so there was never any restriction at home.
Now you are a parent, okay? Now, what is that one message you would want to give all the parents regarding parenting their child these days?
One message I already gave, one gap. Too much restrictions, too many restrictions telling them what to do. I think every child has their own personality, and the parents should let that personality come out. And I think now with the education system changing, it's nice that it's more project based and it's more letting the child discover, professions like artist, chef, writer, editor. These are professions that are actually being a singer, dancer. People are looking at them as professions. Sports. These were all things that were like, nahi, ye sab nahi karna. But now I think parents are getting more open-minded, and it's nice that they're allowing the children to be more creative and, thinking of other hobbies, which would be just hobbies, as actual careers. So I think you should let your child just be and fly. Let them fly. Don't try to, by stopping them or by negating them or saying कि मुझे ऐसा हुआ था, I know, मेरा experience है, मुझे पता है. That kind of just, they don't want to listen to that in any case. I have a 14-year-old boy, and if I try to tell him that, listen to me, I know how it goes, he doesn't want to listen to me. So I just have to let him make his mistakes and have his experiences and learn from them.
I think the kids these days, what you mentioned is so true कि जितना उनको रोकेंगे उतना they want to do the same thing again and again.
Yes.
And if you let them free, I think they will, end of the day, they'll come back to you and be like, Mom, मैंने ये किया है.
Yes. And they know that you're not always watching them or you're being a detective behind them. And I think then they learn to trust you more.
Yeah.
That trust takes time. I'm slowly learning it.
That is.
I have one 10-year-old boy and one 14-year-old boy.
That is amazing. So now, tell me about both of your kids. They've watched Mohabbatein?
No, actually.
Don't watch. What are you saying?
They don't watch. So they watched parts of it. They watched parts of it.
Is there a reason behind that?
The only film of ours that they watched would be maybe Khosla Ka Khosla. That
Khosla Ka
also, I think,
yes.
in parts. But they watched Parveen's Khosla Ka Khosla. That also, I think now they might, and cross 14, 15, now they might be interested to watch. Right till now, it was just superheroes and Avengers and, all those kind of movies. They were not interested and we didn't push them. So Parveen and I haven't pushed them. We don't take them to attend film parties. They're not there. If you see our social media, they're not there at all. We do not put them on any of our social media. They don't have social media pages as well. They don't put their... I'm sure my 14-year-old has Instagram. But, we don't put their pictures out there.
Got it.
We want them to find their own path. So they've not been exposed to this whole film world. They don't come for film parties with us or film. And we are not too happy to get them photographed yet.
So, we want to understand this thing. Okay, across the industry, there are a lot of celebrities like Ranveer or Ranbir. You pick any name who is a parent right now, they are not very open to get their child out in public, like in front of paps, in front of cameras. What is the reason behind that?
I think the child should be allowed to have their own choice and their own option and not be bogged down by, this is who my parents are and this is what I should do or what I must do. I think then their mindset also becomes very one track and they're not able to think beyond. I think they need to develop their own personality, and that can't happen if they have paps on them continuously, and it changes their mindset and their thought. And I think they need to have be able to develop their own personality, which may not happen if they are bogged down by pressure and they just always have on their mind, oh, my parents are this, or my parents have achieved this, or I've so as much as we can, we would like to keep them. I don't know about the mindset of others, or what's going through the minds of others, but we have always had this stance. We've never sent them to school by car and driver. They always have gone by the school bus, and now my elder one just goes by an auto.
Amazing.
So not even a Uber car. He's always in an auto. So he, at least, अभी तो train में नहीं गया है. So I still feel that it's still a little more privileged upbringing than we would like. We would like them to just go the hard way. He boxes, my elder one, so he does go for a lot of competitions and everything. And he's getting a taste of what the sports world is like and how hard it is when you go for a district or a state or a national competition, and what the athlete has to go through. They have to sit on the ground. They have to eat a banana. They have to, wait your turn. Absolutely. And you might be ready. You might have not eaten anything, but if you have to take your weight, you have to starve for the entire day. So things like this, I think it's very important that they have experiences like this in their life, and not just a comfortable kind of thought that mere paas to hai mere parents and I don't. So that fire needs to come in from themselves.
But I'm so happy, Preeti, because trust me, what people think outside, I'm sure you might know a lot of it, but what people think outside it, कि अगर celebrity का बच्चा है, so I think they will be more into luxury cars, they'll be more into, okay, nahi, we want to be around cameras. But the way you have guided them, or the way your kids are right now, what you just mentioned, I think that is amazing. And that is really, really good. Say tomorrow, if I reach that stage, I think this is exactly what I would also want for my kids as well.
Yes, because even anyone's kids today in Bombay are privileged.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you come from, where they get everything in their hand, and we want to give that to them, right? We want them to, but we have to stop ourselves, I feel, somewhere.
Is it hard?
It's very hard. It's very hard for me. I would say Parveen is better at it than I am, but it's very hard for me. Yes, I feel like, let me always hand them something, or I think it's just a maternal instinct to want to hand them everything and make sure that everything is made easy for them. But I think everything is made too easy for them. They still have it very easy.
But are they aware of that they can get things very easily, but my mom has been there?
They are aware, of course, that, there's all... we're trying to make it slightly hard. But at the end of the day, all kids in Bombay are privileged. I mean, we have young kids working for us because we have a huge social media team as well.
Yeah.
So we have kids working for us, and it's a different generation, and it needs to be dealt in a different way. They're not so used to criticism. They're not used to taking, and they are hurt very easily, affected very easily. I remember at our time, even when I was working in movies, I've had to listen to things in front of the entire set, and when you're actually the lead actor of a movie and you're listening to kya kar rahi hai types, and what are you doing, and things like that, and you have to take it, learn from it, and improve. I remember Saroji yelling at me in front of the entire set, and it was embarrassing and very difficult, but you have to learn from it, move on. You don't have the option of quitting and saying, I'm going home. That's not the right way to deal with it. So everybody has to face an embarrassing situation or a tough situation, but you have to learn from it, and you have to move ahead with it. Move ahead from it. You have to contain your anger, you have to contain your embarrassment, and you have to move forward. And these are the things I think that the young generation finds it a little difficult to control their emotions and move on, because everything is not going to go your way, and it's not always going to be hunky dory for you.
Right.
So yeah, we and I think with having these young people work in our office has given us a good perspective on our kids as well, on what it'll be like when they actually go into the real world and have to do a job, and or even manage a business. It doesn't matter, even if they're their own boss, they still have to be disciplined, and they will still have to face obstacles.
Right.
So too.
So, Preeti, how difficult is it to be a mother at this stage with the fame that you have, with the work? You are an entrepreneur right now. Parveen sir is an entrepreneur right now. You guys are running your own business as well, Pro Panja League. So, keeping all of these things in mind, you have to manage your business. You have to manage your kids. You have to manage your work. How difficult is it to be a mother right now?
Right now, the hardest thing for me is guilt.
Guilt about
Guilt
what?
about time. I am not able to give my kids the time that I feel that they need. I think all kids today need. I said this many times. I feel like it's one parent has to give everything to the kid, to the child, if you want them to, if you want them to excel at something, or if you want them to be an expert at something, you want them to be like a tennis player or a boxer in my case, or a maths whiz, or if you want them to really specialize in something, one parent just has to be there constantly. But even if they're not, if you're not crazy about things and you're just a normal family, even then I feel that the kind of workload that the kids have today, and the kind of work that they have to do, and the kind of places they have to be at, one parent really needs to be there with them always. And we're not there at all. Parveen and I are traveling constantly. It's like we have a schedule which is packed minute by minute, mostly with travel. We have to travel in the past 2 years, we've traveled to every city in India, and then abroad also, to places we would never have otherwise been traveling to. For me, it's very good because I have a great support system. I have my mother, I have my sister, we all live in the same building. So without that support system, for a family, a nuclear family, just a husband, wife, and I think it would be very, very impossible. So to answer your question, the biggest thing is mother guilt, not being able to spend enough time. Like my son's exams are going on right now. So, after this interview, I'll go to the office, but I won't have time to go back home and revise the next day's.
Right.
I have to depend entirely on tuition teachers, or which is, or my mom, who's 80 years old almost.
It becomes a little difficult. Definitely, yeah.
It becomes hard. So yeah, so a working mother will always have this. So that's the time is, I feel that the most for parenting is the most invaluable thing that I miss.
If there's one thing you could change being a mother right now, what would that be?
Change in my journey as a mother?
Not your journey, to what you can give back to your kids at this moment.
Very soft on my kids. So I would like to, I think I would like to still have been a little more, give them a little more obstacles in life, make it a little harder for them.
I think I really wish all the parents out there, they are like you, because I know how difficult it might get end of the day, but you are doing it for your kids.
Yes.
You want your kids to have their own identity end of the day.
Yes.
You want your kids to be successful, not by the shadow of yours and Parveen sir's,
yes,
but build their own thing by themselves.
Exactly. As you're speaking now, I'm getting more. It's very tough. It's very difficult, right? It's a very thin line. It's a very thin line on being tough, not being tough, giving them stuff, not giving them stuff. It's parenting is a tough. That's what I tell everybody out there. There's so many people there today who choose not to have kids. I say it's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine. If you feel you're not able to, you have to give your whole self. You have to give everything, and they become your everything. So you have to give your entire self. So if you're not ready for that commitment or that responsibility, then I think it's better you don't have kids.
And what's one good thing about being a parent?
feeling whole, you know, you've created something which is yours, and just that love, the feeling of love, and always having, always knowing that unconditional love. As of now, they have unconditional love to me. I don't know later, because boys and mums have a different kind of relationship, and I feel they've always been very close to me, both my boys.
That is great. So with this, we will move to something that you've built over the past few years, that is Pro Panja League. Okay, so tell us something about Pro Panja League. How did this idea come up to you? Have you been in the field of sports? You or Parveen sir, have you been in this field of sports, and that is why you chose this sport? And how come Panja came into the picture than all the other sports in the country?
Look, even we didn't know that it's going to reach where it's reached today. Today, I'm the president of the People's Arm Wrestling Federation India, which is the national arm wrestling federation and the only arm wrestling federation in the country.
Wow.
With international affiliation to the world body, which is the World Arm Wrestling Federation, and the Asian Arm Wrestling Federation, which is the Asian body. Never in my wildest dreams, chalo, being an actor was also never in my wildest dreams. I never thought never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be the president of a sports federation in India. I don't know of any other female presidents of a sport federation in India, especially, let alone abroad. I'm also the first female and the first Indian vice president of the Asian Federation, Asian Arm Wrestling Federation. So, to answer your question, arm wrestling or sport, again, was not something on our mind. But yes, in our house, UFC or MMA has always been a huge thing in our house. It's always been on the TV because Parveen was a huge combat sports fan, which is where the love for boxing comes, which is where, you know, that's how my son was introduced to. He's done karate, he's done jiu-jitsu, he's done Brazilian jiu-jitsu, he's done all of these
He's done all of these things
yeah.
at the age of 14 already.
Yeah, he's done all of that. He's a black
God.
belt in karate, he's done Brazilian jiu-jitsu, then of course now he's continuing boxing.
Yeah.
So the love for all this comes from, because combat sports has always been, every Sunday UFC was on, because that's when it used to come on Sony Sports. But when we decided, both of us we had our own company called Sven Entertainment, in which we produce films. We did a film called Sahi Dhande Galat Bande. So primarily, we wanted to make an extension of what we do, which is produce and make films and tell stories. Parveen himself is a very good writer and a director as well. So that was our, where I was producing and Parveen was writing and directing, was the idea. But sports, because it's been such a large part of our household, combat sports. When we did the MMA India show, it became a huge success. It became one of the premier MMA sites in the country. But when we decided to get into the promotion of sports, that's when we decided we would like to get into the promotion of sports. We felt MMA was something the Indian public doesn't understand. But arm wrestling was something that was completely undiscovered. We did see an arm wrestling match, and that's when it clicked, and it, for both of us at the same time, it was like, this is something that's undiscovered. And it has an Indian name, Panja.
Yes.
And this is something which we felt that, it has a low financial entry point. Everybody knows about it. It has a desi ethos.
Desi touch.
And we felt Indian it could be huge. That's when we slowly got into the world of arm wrestling. We realized how huge it is. It's being played in India. There's a large number of professional athletes who play. By professional, I mean they train only for arm wrestling. It was all amateur competitions. There was nothing like the Pro Panja League. There is no professional arm wrestling league with teams in the team format, which is how Indians consume sport, which is like the Kabaddi League and the Table Tennis League and the Volleyball League, and all of these leagues is the way we like to consume sport, which is team-based format. That's when we came upon the idea of doing a team-based format for the Pro Panja for arm wrestling, and named it the Pro Panja League. And slowly we have now graduated into, I am now part of the federation, or I run the federation. and Parveen now runs. This is how we've separated
Right.
our work now, and Parveen runs the Pro Panja League. The Pro Panja League in season 1, we worked very, very, very hard for it. We did a lot of events beforehand to understand how the audience will accept it, how will they like to view it, how should we shoot it. So we didn't just come to the league to just
There
put
was
it.
a
We
lot
did a
behind
lot
it.
behind it. We did a lot of events. Then we put the table in front of big monuments such like the Gwalior Fort, or on a casino boat in Goa, the Gateway of India, or the Taj Mahal. We in the middle of Bhopal Lake, on the Narmada Nadi ke kinare. So we put the table everywhere in front of these monuments, and we had huge events everywhere, which did very well. And by then, we already had created a huge fan base and a couple of budding athlete stars. That's when we did Pro Panja League Season 1, and we received huge numbers, 32 million unique viewers on Sony Sports, huge social media numbers. Today, we stand at 1.8 billion views
That is
on
huge.
on our social media, and a huge reach on our broadcast as well at season 2. So that's where we stand today. It's been a long journey and a completely different journey. Nobody knows where the journey will lead to. We were just doing the Pro Panja League, and now I think what we are building now is an entire ecosystem for arm wrestling in the country.
Right.
The world bodies have now trusted us enough to give us the rights to hold the World Arm Wrestling Championship, which is a huge responsibility. Last year in Bulgaria, the World Arm Wrestling Championship had 75 countries attending. So this year, because it's in India and it's easy to get to, that was Bulgaria. It's not so easy to get to for around the world, but India and Delhi, where we hopefully plan to have it, is much easier for people to get to. And we are expecting at least 80 countries.
That is
Athletes from over 80
amazing.
countries. So it's a huge, huge responsibility on us because we have male, female, and specially abled. And we are the only league in the world who has male, female, and specially abled all on the same stage with equal pay parity in the league.
Wow.
The
Wow.
World Championship, of course, is the amateur part of it. And the league is with 6 teams, the professional league.
Great. So with that, if you can also tell us when is this happening, and if there are people, I'm definitely sure there'll be a lot of people who would be interested to be a part of it, like as a viewer,
Yeah.
or they would want to watch it on television. If you can give
So
us
we've
more.
done 2 international competitions before. We did something called the Asian Cup in Mumbai in 2024. In 2025, we did the Asian Championship. So the Asian Championship was telecast on Sony Sports in pre-recorded visuals. The World Championship, of course, is always live on the Olympic channel.
Right.
And then we will announce where else we will air it.
Great. So now tell us the journey with Pro Panja League. Like you and Parveen started this, and where do you see Pro Panja League in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and how big do you want to make this?
See, from when we started it in 2020 to now it's 26, I think our DNA has changed. We've seen so much and, put so much of ourselves into this. We are in it completely. And we've been always very, very passionate about it ever since we got into it and ever since we did our first few tournaments. We are very passionate about it. We are very passionate about our athletes. The athletes we have regular sessions with the athletes on how to grow their own social media, how to monetize their what we are making for them and what we are building them to be. We always felt leagues in India were always done with a celebrity face. Let's
Right.
put one face there. But people will not come to watch. They may come and watch the first day for the celebrity.
celebrity.
But the rest of the tournament and the actual love for the sport will only come when the sports players are the stars. And that's what we've been trying to do with Pro Panja League, is create stars out of our players, which we've managed to do in a lot of players. One of our athletes from Gwalior, Sachin Goyal, he's called the Bicep King. You can see him on YouTube now. He has more than 2 million followers. We have Aryan Khandari from Uttarakhand. He's also a huge social media star. In Aizawl, Mizoram, we have a boy called Denik Lalruat Rwanga, who, when we did a competition with him, a match with him in Mizoram, 20,000 people came to watch him and screaming his name. So we've created these local stars for whom people come and watch now arm wrestling, and we have a boy from Kashmir called Billah. He's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
We have all over. Dara Singh Handa from Maharashtra, huge star again. So Sanjay Deswal from Delhi, huge star. Some of our female athletes, they're also doing very, very amazing. From Haryana, we have Yogesh Chaudhary. She's absolutely amazing. You have to see her. Nirmal Olyan, again amazing. Fareen Dahalvi. So we have some amazing women there who are doing some great work.
And how did the idea, because I have not, as you mentioned, there's not been a sport where there are all the three categories, where men, women and special category as well.
Yeah.
How did that idea of getting the special category for Pro Punjab League come into the table?
Arm wrestling as a sport has always had the amateur championships along with the para category. So for example, it will be the World Arm Wrestling Championship and Para Arm Wrestling Championship.
Okay.
Every time. So we decided to continue that ethos into the professional league as well. So as of now, I think we are the only professional league in which every team has 6 weight categories for men, 3 weight categories for women, and then 1 specially abled open category, which we will try to increase as
Over
the years go
yes.
by. We will also by next year be adding a foreign players category, a
Good.
super
That is
heavyweight category,
That is
in which we will add foreign players. Because every international arm wrestler now wants to come to India and be in the Pro Punjab League. As of now, all of our coaches are one of the best coaches in the world. We have very, very... I would say I'd like to thank them very much for coming here and training our players. So every team has an international coach who's one of the best in their country, and some of our referees as well are international referees. So as of now, the only international participation we have is referees and coaches.
Right.
But from next year, we will bring the athletes on.
That is amazing. I think what you mentioned is because the name Panja, as kids, we have all played that sport.
Yes.
Like maybe we did not know that it is going to become so big that there'll be a whole league, a whole tournament around it.
Yeah.
But I think people in India are also able to relate it because everyone has played Panja somewhere or the
Sometime
other.
Yes.
Like in school, like in colleges, at home or somewhere. I think every kid in India has played Panja, and I think that's a really smart strategy or smart move with getting the word Panja into the picture and building it by that name.
The world knows arm wrestling as Panja now.
Exactly.
You'll not believe when we came in also, we were surprised that arm wrestling is such a huge sport played in so many countries in the world. People were not aware. And it is only now with what India is doing in arm wrestling, with what we have managed to do and the numbers we have managed to generate in arm wrestling, is that the world is becoming aware of this sport called arm wrestling. Now the world is becoming aware of it as Panja. So they all know it as Panja.
How do you feel about that you are changing that statement for people across the world?
Yes, I mean, it sinks in slowly. Right now we're just so inundated with work and we're just working towards it and we don't think about it so much about what... but I feel very grateful for what we've managed to create and achieve so far. We had to face a lot of people saying that, is it even a sport? Can it even... Who'll watch it? From that, from there to today, where it is seen as one of the best and the most watched leagues in India. It's and known as the best production of arm wrestling in the world.
In the world. Wow.
They've not seen a production like this anywhere in the world. The kind of lights, the stage, the drama that we can create, the novelty that comes with being a Panja athlete. It's not there anywhere in the world. So I feel very grateful that somewhere we've been, we've been pushed to our limits, but there has to have been a divine hand there somewhere for us to have been able to achieve this, because we know what we started with.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was no. Although there was a huge community of athletes, there was no awareness at all. There was no structure. There was no. Now we've created a structure to the federation. We have regular district championships, and the ones who win there will then can go for the state, and the ones who win at the state can then go for the nationals. We used to have 200 and 300 athletes at every national championship. Today, last year in Kerala, at our national championship, we had 2,000 athletes. And this time in Gujarat, in Gandhinagar, we are expecting 2,500. It becomes difficult for us to handle that many athletes that come to our national championships now. All with the dream that one day they'll be able to get into the professional league, which is the Pro Punjab League. So the aspirational stage is what we've been able to set, the Pro Punjab League. Right. And then create a structure to the federation to bring more professionalism into it, to bring, again, we have so many female now leaders. We have a couple of state heads also who are female, to bring that empathy into it, to make sure that we have that female participation as well in the administration of the sport, and not just in athletes.
So with that, Preeti, we will come back to love. We'll come back to relationships. We'll come back to things that this episode or this podcast also stands for. Okay, so the Backstory podcast is all about love and relationships and how people feel about certain feelings, certain emotions. So I want to talk about the king of love, Shah Rukh Khan. Okay, so you worked with Shah Rukh Khan, sir. Okay, just quickly tell us how it is to work with a personality like him. And we have all heard that all the actresses or co-actors that has worked with Shah Rukh Khan, sir, he makes everyone feel very special around him. So because you've worked with him, if you can tell us, how has your journey been with him when you were shooting Mohabbatein?
See, this question has been asked to me million times. What was it like working with Shah Rukh Khan? But every time I think of Shah Rukh Khan, I wasn't a huge fan. Like I said, I was not a big movies fan only. I used to not watch that many movies. But as an individual, it's very difficult to ignore or not be affected by Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, because number one, he's very, very charming. And the way he speaks to you is as if you're the only one, and if you're very special. But it's not overtly, it's not. It never makes you uncomfortable. It always makes you very like, oh my God, what a warm personality, and what an intelligent personality, because he can speak to you on any topic, right? Any subject, any topic. I remember during the shooting also, plus he's extremely competitive.
Oh yeah.
Very competitive. And Adi as well is very competitive. So during when we were not shooting in the evenings in Switzerland, we used to play games. And either you were Shah Rukh's team or you were Adi's team. And there were just two teams, because they're the two most crazily competitive people. And it's so scary, because if you would get an answer wrong or you're not able to answer, they would be like so angry at you because you know that they're genuine, because they have to win. So you can see that fire and that passion in him, and he also very helpful during one of the songs when I wasn't getting the take right. I've said this story so many times, but I have to say it because the way he explained to me is that was when one of the times when I learned how hard it is to be an actor. Is you have to give it your all. Every shot, you have to give it everything. He said you have to give it everything. You have to actually be singing that song and feeling that song. Till then, the shot is not going to be okayed, because you might feel that it's just acting out. You can just pantomime it, but you can't. The camera catches every lie. That's the line he told me. So if you're not really singing, you're lying, you're not really acting it out, you're not feeling the emotion, the camera's going to catch it. And the way he says it to you is never preachy or irritating, like it has happened later on in my career when people are trying to teach you. And it's never like that. It's never like that. He's just you know, he is where he is for a reason. Very humble. He was used to be sitting on the ground, you know, speaking to the spot boy, speaking to everybody. No, not required to have a special chair where you would be sitting, or he was always speaking to everybody, you know, very comfortable in his own skin. And like I said, extremely charming.
Right. So during the whole set, when the movie was being shot, what has been that one moment, Preeti, that you still remember and you cannot forget that? What has been that one moment with him,
With Shah Rukh Khan,
with Shah Rukh Khan?
I would say when we were playing the game and I got the answer right.
Okay.
I felt so special. I was like, yeah.
So tell us something more about the shoot. Like when the movie was being shot, tell us something more about how was the shoot, what was happening in the shoot, how was the vibe that went.
See, it was not one shoot, it was a year.
Yes.
It was more than a year, I think. We became, I knew no other life to in that 1 year but the Yashraj office and the dance studio and the, yeah, that was it. And that's all we knew, because either we would be in the office rehearsing our lines, or you know, with Vidur sir doing our voice diction or Hindi training, or with Karan, or we would be in the dance studio with Farah. The rest of the evening was all Farah and Geeta and Ricky and all of them training us for different kinds of dance, film dances, you know, folk dances, things like that. So for the whole shoot was, you know, I don't think I could have got a training ground like that ever for anything in any other movie. And for that, I'm very, very, very thankful, because my entire career and even my personality has been shaped by that 1 year in which we were there. You know, learning to deal with people we didn't know at all. The six of us didn't know each other at all. And by the end of it, we like knew each and every aspect of our personalities, each other's personalities. And the bond that you form, and then seeing stalwarts like Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, how they are on set. The first person on set used to be Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, and he used to be sitting on the set, never in his vanity van. Always there on the set, very youthful again, very always wanting to sit. He's saying, "Don't make me sit with the oldies. I want to sit with you guys. You know, I'm young like you guys. If you make me sit with the oldies, I'll become an oldie like them." Yashji, amazing. He was so fun and full of life. I think he didn't have the pressure of that. This is, you know, he didn't have to direct the film, and he trusted his son completely. And the only time anyone would go for advice Adi would go to him for advice would be for clothes. Because Yashi always said that if my film costumes are not copied, if people are not wearing them after the movie, that means it's not been a success. So his idea of clothes and dressing was something people respected a lot in the set. So we always went to him for the final look approval, that you think is fine. And if there's any change you think should be there in the costume. So
has there been a point where all of you are ready on the sets, and then suddenly Yash ji watches you and say, okay, this clothes not going with the scene, or we need to change that? Has that been a point?
Once, but I think Adi didn't listen to him. It was very father-son. Once, but otherwise, I don't think Yash ji ever interfered. It was Adi's film throughout.
Amazing.
He was there though throughout. He was
Was he there throughout the year?
Most of the times, yes. The entire abroad schedule, yes, of course. Pam Auntie, they were the producers, and they were kind of maybe organizing everything, but always there. Yes, most of the time I remember him being there.
Amazing. So now, when you talk about the cast of Mohabbatein, are you still in touch with everyone? Shah Rukh sir, Amitabh sir, Aishwarya ma'am, Jugal sir.
So, like I said, I was. I think I was very awkward and not really from a film family to feel very comfortable. But I'm not in touch with a lot of people from Mohabbatein, unfortunately. Everybody is gone off and doing their own things. So unfortunately, we are all not so much in touch.
Right. But now, when you talk about your journey ahead, are you thinking of doing more movies? Are you thinking of getting into movies again, or right now your mind is only around the business with Pavin sir? That is.
See, once an actor, always an actor. You can't take that out of an actor. An actor is always hungry to do more roles, better roles, and it doesn't matter what genre it is, whether it's OTT or whether it's film or where it is. So yes, I always, if there's an exciting role that comes my way, I'll not be able to say no to it. I won't be able to say no, and I'd love to do that.
Right.
It's what I've done for most of my life. Arm wrestling, Panja, the business, it holds a special place in my heart. So, and this is what's entirely consuming us right now. We don't really have time for anything else right now. But of course, I would always love to do a role that excites me.
But do you think it is going to be a little difficult? Because as you mentioned, right now, you are literally just surrounded with the work for Panja and
Yeah, I mean,
Pro Panja.
we're constantly
Right.
traveling,
So
like I said.
tomorrow you get a movie, Preeti. Okay, how are you going to manage your business and how are you going to manage your acting life?
Like I've managed everything else I've managed. I think a woman is a multitasker.
Yes.
And
Do you feel scared about that?
Do I feel scared
about that?
About what?
About say tomorrow you get a movie and then suddenly how are you going to manage both the things together?
No, not at all. I'm not scared about that at all. I would be very excited to be able to do that. And I think I would, when you really want to do something, you make the time for it. Where
Right.
there's a will, there's a way.
Right. Is it also because Parveen sir has been very supportive?
Yes, exactly. So I know that he's there. I remember all of last year, during the league, he was shooting for one of the biggest films of his career. I can't mention which one it is, but it's a huge film that he's shooting for last year. And this was right in the middle of the dates came right in the middle of season 2.
Wow.
But I was there for the league and I was able to hold fort. And most of the time, the league is for 17 days and 10 days he was out shooting, more than 10 days, I think. So, but I was there and I was able to manage it. And I know that tomorrow, if I do get a project that I can't say no to, he'll be there.
Right.
To handle it. So because we're both there and we are both so hands-on, I think I have the support of Parveen that he'll be there and he'll say you just got to go and do it and I'll manage things here, like I had to do for him and like I did do for him when he was shooting. He's also shooting for Khosla Ka Ghosla Part 2,
Right.
which is much awaited, and
Right,
that is
right.
again that came in the middle of so many things. But because I was there, he managed to do his work.
So I think it is the understanding that both of you have end of the day as a couple that okay, if someone is busy, the other one is going to take over the work. If the
Yes.
other person is busy,
Certainly.
Right.
As far as Parveen is concerned, he's been the one pushing me to, go ahead and do things and work more on my social media. I think I would say I'm the more, social media is something I would be very, very lazy about, because clicking pictures of every occasion or everything in my life or every outfit that I've worn is very hard for me.
but it is really like we can't think of you saying this because you coming from that background of doing great movies and then you saying okay, I don't want to be on social media.
It's tiring to be on social media. It's not that I don't want to be. I'm happy to be on social media, but it's tiring.
It's work.
Yeah. And I can understand now why people have people to manage it for them. But I'm just saying, social media should be a very personal thing. And if you have somebody managing for you, I don't think your personality comes out. And I don't think it works that way.
I get it.
I think social media only works when you're doing it yourself, or people understand that it's more you. Your personality coming out there. And that's when I think the account really works.
Amazing. Now with that, I want to touch base a little bit about your love story. Okay. With you and Parveen sir, as much as I've read about both of you, I've learned that, just correct me if I'm wrong, I've learned that both of you were very simple people. You didn't want to like show it out to the world very loudly that okay, you guys are together, and then you guys were very good friends initially, and that's when you started dating, and then the whole marriage came into the picture.
Simple people, I don't know, but we never. I know that I never worried about industry norms. I never. It never. This is the age you should work at. This is the age you should stop, or this is when you should. When I knew that I had found the right person in Parveen, I got married. It was in the middle of like 3 movies that I was doing, and I didn't think twice. At that time, it wasn't so normal for actresses to just up and get married. Now it is a very normal thing that you get married and you just continue your career, your journey. That time it was like if you get married is the end of your career. But I never thought of it that way. I never ever followed industry trends or industry norms. I remember I did a kissing scene in Ye Hai Prem, which was like shocking. It shocked everybody, but I never thought so much about it. It was what my director and my choreographer asked me to perform, and that's what I performed. I've never thought so much about what people will say and what people will think. So even when I was dating Parveen, it was not something that I was hiding or not hiding or telling people or not telling people.
But the Paps
It
got
was-
to know about it?
I don't think the pap culture was that big that time. But yes, I think we were very open about it with that when we were dating, and we never tried to hide it or the way people do. We didn't try to hide it at all. Parveen, what I found in Parveen very different from others was that he had so many different hobbies as well, so many different interests, and his life was not just about being an actor and looking at himself in the mirror. Which I used to find very putting off when you see a lot of people who are only interested in themselves and their work and being very conceited. And it was like a breath of fresh air. He was so different, always wanting to do different things. And he's also a photographer, and he was scuba diving. And when we went on holidays together, we were always doing adventure things and different things and fun things, and not just worrying about how we are looking or is the sun tanning us. And so it was refreshing and nice.
So with that, now let's go back 26 years. Okay. The character you had in Mohabbatein, what did you think about love at that point? And how has love changed for you over the years now?
Love at that time is very exciting, and it's romance, and teenagers, we are in love with the idea of love and romance, and everything is. And for a long time, it was like that. I would say even, but also the entire beginning romance years of my relationship with Parveen were very exciting, and it's it's new love, and plus we were in the same profession, so it was very easy for us. Everything fell in very easily. There were no family conflicts, and our parents were quite happy to let us get married. So, yes, but in the end, I think marriage is completely different from just love and dating. So, you only, with marriage, you have to realize it's also a lot of companionship and to be compatible and to no two people can be completely compatible. You're always going to have different interests, different thoughts, different ideas. So, yes, it is being able to manage each other's expectations and also know that if you are tolerating something in somebody else is also tolerating something in you. So you have to have that maturity to get into a marriage, and then once the kids come in, it's a whole different. That's a different thing.
So
I think maturity in both the adults is very important in a marriage.
Absolutely. What is that one lesson would you want to give to all the youngsters out there who are willing to fall in love, who are in love and they want to take their life ahead, like with marriage, with their partners? What is that one message you want to give them about
So
love?
look, I'm going to always tell all youngsters, just go for your dreams. Whatever your dreams are, whether it's in love, marriage, career, just, go for it, and don't let anybody give you gyan or tell you what is. Every relationship is different. Every career journey pathway is different. Every person is different, and every journey is going to be different. I don't think you should listen to too many people and just follow your heart. In the end, you are going to make the mistakes that you make. When you're really passionate about something or love someone, you're going to do what your heart says in the end. So I think you should just go ahead and live your life to the fullest and enjoy yourself and try not to think too much, because today's world is too much about thinking, and let's read that book, and let's read that self-help book, and let's read that relationship book, and let's read that book about how to make money and how to. Everything has become so let's think about it. I think we've forgotten how to live and just enjoy the moment. I think every youngster, I just want to say, enjoy the moment. The young years are the best years. I know I had a great time, and I went with the flow. I think that was the best part about my life and my journey is that I went with the flow and I didn't think too much about it, and I enjoyed myself. If I would have been very, very crazy or very thinking too much, maybe I wouldn't have had such a good time. So yes, I have regrets and I made mistakes along the way, but everyone's going to do that in any case. You're going to have that in any case. So
Right.
just have a good time,
So
relax.
when you did Mohabbatein and you completed Mohabbatein, you were the dream girl. Okay, so I'm very sure there might be a lot of guys that might have come to you and might have been like, "We are in love with you." Have you got those kind of proposals in public from fans or in life in general?
Yeah,
that
many
time?
times.
Many. And, what has been the funniest one?
Yeah, it was a craze at that time, and the video and Mohabbatein as well had a lot of fans. The
Yes.
movie had a lot of fans. I used to get sacks of fan mail, which the Yash Raj office used to kindly send to me, and then it became emails. Then people started sending emails. They used to keep forwarding those emails, and then I think they got fed up and we got fed up, and we said we couldn't read all of those. So yeah, there have been some proposals and things like that. There was this guy who landed up in my house with his family.
What are you saying?
And we didn't have security and all at that time. They said कि मैं तो लाया हूँ आपने शादी करनी है. So I said, listen, you can come in and you all can have, my parents let them come in and I had tea and everything. And they said that, please go now. And he said, ठीक है, तो मैं राखी भी लाया हूँ. तो आप मुझे राखी बंधवा दो.
And you did that?
I didn't actually. I was like slightly crazy.
And
So-
but those are
So things like that, weird things like that happen. And yeah.
Oh my god.
And good proposals as well, but yeah.
Oh my god.
It's all old stories.
But do
it's
you-
too many years back.
Now, with that, we will slowly move into our rapid fire round. Okay, so we have a special round during this episode, and where I ask you a question, you give me the answer, whatever comes to your mind, as soon as possible, and we will try to keep this fun and
Okay.
keep it short.
Okay.
Right? अगर मोहब्बतें वाली यंग प्रीति आज वाली प्रीति से मिलती तो आप उसे क्या एडवाइस देती?
Relax a bit. Don't worry so much about what people are thinking.
Great. अगर मोहब्बतें आज बन रही होती तो शाहरुख खान की जगह कौन होता?
I don't know. Who else is the king of romance?
Or maybe
Romance. Maybe Ranbir Kapoor?
ओके ग्रेट. एक एक्टर जिनके साथ काम करने का चांस मिला होता तो करियर और इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाता और समवन यू वांटेड टू वर्क विद एट दैट पॉइंट.
At that time, I really wanted to work with Amir Khan. Yeah.
नाइस.
I was very fond of his work at that time, yes. Sridevi, I really wanted to work with Sridevi. I love her. She was the one actress the one movie that I really saw before I became an actor was Chandni.
And I think, don't you think
Just the-
both the characters, like, because you were wearing white throughout the movie.
Thank you for that, but I don't know if you can compare me to Sridevi.
Chandni, like Sridevi
Yeah.
ma'am, Chandni, the character Chandni was wearing white throughout the movie. And
Yeah, I mean, what a coincidence. Now that it's just come out right now while we are speaking. But yes, she was the one actor that I loved. Chandni or even Chalbaz. I just love those movies. Lamhe.
right.
Absolutely, I think she was amazing. She was like fire.
But I think the one scene, the opening scene, where the train is going and you were standing on the other side of the train and Jimmy sir is standing on the other side of the platform and he's just watching you. You are in your
Red outfit,
the red outfit.
Yeah.
I think when you see that, the first scene of it, and when you compare Chandni to that movie, I think...
Thank you for that.
I
I don't
think
know about that.
It just sits in perfectly because I am a big fan of Chandni. I've watched that
Yes,
movie. I watched
yes.
it with my mom. And I've watched Mohabbatein like multiple times.
That's so nice to know.
So when I see both the characters, and I don't know how didn't you know about this, or someone might have not told you that the character, Chandni character and your character was somewhere similar.
I think it was that thought of filmmaking, the whole Yash Raj,
Yes, I think.
the world
Yes.
that it was that caused the similarities.
Great. Okay. एक बॉलीवुड मिथ जो आप तोड़ना चाहते हो, like that people do not know about.
That outsiders cannot make it. That's a big myth.
Right. एक चीज़ जो बॉलीवुड पार्टीज में होती है पर ऑडियंस को कभी पता नहीं चलता है.
I don't know. That people are actually having fun. It's like any other party, you know, really.
Good.
Yeah, that people think that there's this whole drugs and cocaine scene going on, but that's not
Not
true.
the scene.
I don't. It's not so, you know, the way, it's not as wild as people make it out to be.
Right. बॉलीवुड में सबसे, because you've been
People
in
are very health conscious nowadays, you know.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I think people really want to look after their bodies nowadays.
So because you've been in this industry for very long,
Yeah.
Preeti, so what do you think कि बॉलीवुड में ऐसा फेक चीज़ जो बॉलीवुड में चलता है, that people try to, do you think people try to be someone else than what they are just to be seen or just to be
Yes.
more glamorous?
Yes, but that is true of, I think, any industry, whether it's Bollywood or Hollywood, whether it's the Indian film industry or whether it's abroad or any other industry. I think people always, that is yes, people are always trying to be somebody else or pretend to be somebody else. But I feel that doesn't really work long term. You can just try to be that somebody else for some time, but at the end of the day, it has to be your reality or your real personality that has to come out, and people can see that.
Right. Okay, next one. मोहब्बतें के सेट में सबसे ज़्यादा फ्लर्टिंग कौन करता था?
Flirting. Nobody was allowed to flirt or anything. It was very strict.
Okay,
Adi
yes.
was very strict with all of us. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, it was a very. You're always working
Oh,
and
that-
focused on our job.
Amazing. अगर मोहब्बतें का रियूनियन हो तो सबसे ज़्यादा गॉसिप कौन करेगा?
सबसे ज़्यादा gossip कौन करेगा? It would be me and Kim.
And why is that?
Yeah.
So are
We
you're
would
in touch
gossip.
with Kim? You
Yes, I am. Although we haven't met for a very long time because we're all both very busy with our respective careers. But yes, occasionally I would say more than others. Yes, I am in touch with him.
अमेजिंग. एक डायरेक्टर जिसके साथ आपको काम करना था पर मे बी यू नेवर गॉट अ चांस.
So many. At that time, Mani Ratnam. I really wanted to work with Mani Ratnam.
ओके, द लास्ट वन. एक ऐसी मूवी जो आपको लगता है कि वो रोल आप बेटर कर लेती, और अ मूवी दैट यू वांटेड टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इन दैट पर्टिकुलर कैरेक्टर.
Now I don't know. It's very tough because I've seen so many movies that I've loved and performances that I've enjoyed. But I recently saw Huck. I don't think I could have done it better than Yami, but I think it was an amazing film, and I would have loved to have been
there.
in that film. Yes.
Great. So this
Or have a character like that, rather.
this is where our rapid fire round ends. Okay, but I have few more questions around the songs of Mohabbatein. Okay, Aankhein Khuli has, I think we still tune to that, and everyone loves that song, and your performance on that, all the cast who've been a part of that particular song have been great. So do you still listen to that particular song, and what has been your favorite memory from that particular song?
Aankhein Khuli was the first song we shot. It was shot here at Mehboob Studios.
Okay, it was short here.
Yeah, the set was made at Mehboob. And that was the first song we shot. So although my part in it was very small, I just come as a dream
Yes,
sequence
yes.
in the end.
Yes.
I'm not actually a part of the song. But I was made to rehearse the entire song with everybody else. So I know all the steps.
So you know it from the start till the end?
Yeah. So we had to do every step because I could not be excluded because ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि मुझे rest मिले. You have to work as much as everybody else. So I knew every step of the song. I rehearsed with everybody else. Every song rehearsal was at least 10-15 days, I think, for us. For us.
Right.
So, yeah. So, and I remember that was the first song of Jimmy's actual performance. Jimmy was like me, non-dancer. So Jimmy
you
and me were the
serious?
non-dancers. We were like, we had never danced in our life, and we were, everyone was like, these two are going to literally. But when he actually started dancing, because he had rehearsed so much like my Kathak sequence, because he had rehearsed so much, he did it brilliantly. He was brilliant.
But
So, and that was the first song Adi showed to us on screen. After we shot it, he wanted us to see it,
How
to
is
see what we're doing, how we are, and how we are performing, and what the expressions are like. And
but that song came out to be, I think, one of the best songs of the movie.
yes, I think all the songs are very, very popular.
Very,
I
very-
don't think you can single out one song. Chalte Chalte was
Chalte
very
Chalte
popular.
was another song. And what memory
And
do you have
the
of
main
Chalte?
thing people want me to actually reminisce is the Pairo Mein Bandhan Hai, which is actually like the tune, if you see, is a little old fashioned, but it's still timeless.
But which is your favorite song from the movie? And something that you still listen to?
Chalte Chalte, I like Chalte Chalte.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I like the rhythms of Mohabbat, the music piece. It's a really nice music piece.
Now,
I like the female version of Chalte Chalte, which was not included in the actual movie.
I think it was
in the DVD
still there
version.
out,
Yeah,
but I
it's
think it
out
was
there,
not
yeah.
part of
Yeah,
the movie
yeah,
you're talking
that was
about.
beautiful. And that sequence, Adi directed himself. Farah didn't direct that. Yeah, that song, the
That is-
female version.
Now, of all the movies that we have watched, I think Mohabbat had that section where the leaves are flowing over the screen. Whose idea was that? Like, because
Adi's, I guess. Yeah.
that's something that has not been done in any movie where
Not
there's
I
a
guess, it was Adi's idea.
There was a great transition, and
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
everyone remembers that transition now.
I remember the way it was narrated to us. It was narrated like that to us when we first heard the story. It was a 4-hour narration that Adi gave all of us together. I think there was also Anupam Kherji and everybody in the room when we were narrating the story. And that's the way it was narrated to us. That the scene transitions, the leaves flow
Yeah.
across. And
It,
we
it
cut
was
to the
narrated
scene.
like that.
Yes.
Also, that was pre-decided and not
Yes.
something during the edit.
No. It was in the script.
That is amazing.
The leaves are a very integral part of the story.
Absolutely. I think with this, we have almost come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Preeti ma'am, for being here, for sharing all your thoughts with us. And
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
as mentioned, I'm still in awe right now because seeing someone who has been the national crush during that time, I think it's
Nice, 26 years
It's
later. It's
amazing
nice.
to have a
Thank you.
conversation with someone like you. And one message before we end this episode, one message to
I've given enough messages, I think.
everyone, just before we end this episode. Just any message that comes to your head.
I think seeing today's scenario in mind and the wars that are, amazingly, I never imagined that in 2026 we would see a war. Or we would see this kind of hatred towards humanity, each other, religion is, not something that I ever took so seriously, for all my growing up years. And I just feel that this whole hatred that we have towards each other needs to subside. So, yeah, I just want to say live and let live.
Yes.
Let everybody practice their beliefs and you practice yours, and just, live and let live is what I'd like to.
Perfect.
Is the message I'd like
Message
to
like-
put across.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here and just lighting up the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for watching this episode. If you liked the episode, if you loved the episode, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. And if you have any questions, don't forget to comment below. I'll see you in the next episode.